For more on this, we're joined by Paul Ejime. He's a Global Affairs Analyst in London. Welcome to the programme, Paul. Now, the DRC is the world's largest producer of cobalt and a major copper supplier. How severely will this sudden export ban disrupt global supply chains for EV batteries and renewable energy technologies, for example?
So, thank you very much for having me. I think if it benefits the Congolese, I think because that is the whole thing. If you are you are endowed with minerals and resources, it should be for the country where this is deposited, and not for other countries to come and exploit it, or you sell it at wrong bottom price because you are selling raw material, and then it goes to a place that does not produce this, and they process and bring it back, and you even buy at higher price. So it could and should, because the Congolese have, and the majority of African countries have had a raw deal from colonial times about not benefiting, the people not benefiting from their God-given resources. So if it changes the dynamics, and then the Congolese, they use this for the benefit and interest of their country, that will be fine, instead of helping other economies.
Right, and while the government wants to boost domestic revenue and create local jobs, does the DRC currently possess the necessary energy infrastructure and melting capacity to process all of these concentrates locally?
Yeah, capacity is one thing, but it can be built, it can be generated. Why don't you, for instance, if you have all these countries taking these raw materials and going to process them outside, why can't they have the industries in Congo? And then that will create employment, and that will also have a possibility for transfer of the technology for the processing. So if they can manage to do it, that is whether they have the political will to do it, because I know that the the blue chips and all the big companies might resist it. They will come to manipulate them to say, no, you can't do it. And who says they cannot do it? It's about technology. And if you have it, let them negotiate in a way that some of these factories or industry can be built in Congo. It will develop Congo, it will create employment, and then ensure that there is a transfer of technology for doing it.
We're seeing a growing trend across Africa, with countries like Zimbabwe and Guinea also restricting raw material exports. Are international mining companies prepared to make the massive capital investments that are required to build refining facilities across the continent?
They have to be forced to do it. If those who have, because if you are the one that has the deposit, if you're the one with the mineral, it has become, they consider it that it's now a cost. The resource cost. That is what they call it now, because instead of becoming a blessing. So they must be forced to let the people that have this benefit from it. For instance, you have oil deposits in UK, in America. Can they tell us that, in fact, there are times they hoard it, they keep it, they have reserves. But why can't Africans do the same thing? In fact, this kind of policy ought to have happened yesterday, because Africa has been shortchanged. It's a product of neo-colonialism and then, imperialism, that you will have resources, somebody comes to buy it at rock bottom price or at nothing, and then go and process it. For instance, Switzerland has gold. There is no gold mine there. Where are the mines? The mines are in Africa, in other places. It doesn't make, there is no justice in it, there is no fairness in it, and it is a world that talks about justice and fairness. So there is economic equity. They have to now ensure, can you believe that Congo ranks about 171st out of 193 countries under the Human Development Index, with these vast resources that it has? So it hasn't been fair. there is nothing to, there is a case of calibrating the world order, the economic dynamics, so that those who have these resources can benefit from it instead of what we have now. You can't have resources that are used to go and develop other countries. It doesn't show fairness. It doesn't. There is no how you cannot justify that under the not under politics, not under economic equation. So I think instead of getting the meager resources that they are getting from the resources that are deposited in their country, it is high time they get it at the economic price. Let these things be bought at the economic price, or let it be produced or processed in the areas, cocoa, diamond, and gold, all of it. Africa is not zero poor. It is just that these resources are badly managed by the leaders. By the way, the leaders are part of the people who connive with foreign interests to benefit themselves and their families and their friends, and then at the expense of the population in Africa. The more than 1.54 billion people that many of them are living in poverty when they have the resources that can turn their lifestyle or their well-being around.
Right, fascinating insights there, Paul Ejime in London. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for having me.